We are now less than 3 weeks away from when Roger Goodell gets booed on his walk to the stage to announce that the Carolina Panthers are on the clock, with prospects visiting teams daily, including Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, who is set to meet with the Carolina Panthers. The rumor mill is heating up. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Justin Ciavolella, joined alongside Josh Bartosik and Alex Rocco, who have entered the minds of the NFL front office personnel to create their own mock drafts. Josh, starting out with you, I already mentioned that Bryce Young is meeting with Carolina this week. Did the Panthers trade up to pounce on that quarterback from Alabama?
Like the pun there, Justin. You're always very good with those. Actually, I don't have Bryce Young going first overall. I have C.J. Stroud, as you can see on this board, going number one. I think C.J. Stroud is the better overall quarterback. We saw it a little bit in the college football playoff in that game against Georgia. That was essentially an NFL-level defense that really he kind of tore apart. Kicker just couldn't get it. That leads Bryce Young goes to 2. Texans get their guy. No more Davis Bills really upsets me. Skip over Will Anderson. Cardinals need an edge. J.J. Watt's gone. Anthony Richardson to Florida. Anthony Richardson to the Colts. The Colts are really struggling. They've not had a franchise quarterback since Andrew Luck have really struggled. And I think they maybe kind of jump a little bit, maybe too high on Anthony Richardson. I think it's a long-term project. We'll skip over these two of you because we're talking about the quarterbacks 4 in those top 10. Talk about Will Levis from Kentucky going to Las Vegas, I should say, no longer Oakland. Look, everyone loves Will Levis. I think he drops a bit, and they just lost Derek Carr to the Saints. They really need a quarterback. They think they may have the team to do it. Got a couple of defensive picks here. Devin Witherspoon to the Bears. Lucas Van Ness, the edge. The Philadelphia Eagles love drafting edge guys. I think he's a really solid one. The Titans need someone after Taylor Lewan was cut. That's Peter Skoronski for them. You have a couple more picks here. Paris Johnson. Jets don't really need a whole lot. They're obviously still waiting for whatever's going on with Aaron Rodgers. What's going on with his toe, his meditation, his whatever he's doing. Who even cares anymore? He's such a weird guy. But I think they really just need another offensive lineman. And they're already traded for Alan Lazard. They're pretty much set. I think that the Patriots realize that they really need a wide receiver now. They just have not had that. Maybe give Mac Jones a little more help. Smith and Jigba is probably one of the best receivers there. Then the Packers, they need a lot of stuff. Give them Quentin Johnson. And now with Washington, they need a lot of stuff on defense. On the defensive side, Joey Porter Jr. is probably one of the better defensive backs that we've seen. Really good at breaking up plays, which leads into the Pittsburgh Steelers pick, who of course are going to think that they would get Joey Porter Jr. And instead, a lot of people think they might go for an offensive tackle. Some people might say Broderick Jones. But overall, this is a team that offensive line, you can kind of get that in free agency a lot, right? And the top defensive backs are kind of gone. You have that 32nd pick where you can get a defensive back like Cam Smith or Kylie Ringo. Go for Jordan Addison. Get a number 1 receiver. They don't really have that. Deontay Johnson's not that guy. George Pickens can't really be that guy. So I think the Steelers make a bit of a jump to get Jordan Addison. Breesy to the Lions. Brian Branch is the guy that could play safety or defensive back for a defense on the Buccaneers that's really weak right now. Zay Flowers will go to the Seahawks. I think that they get a guy that can pair really well with DK Metcalf for that offense. The Chargers get some run defense. Their run defense has yet again still been really bad. Joey Bosa can't do it all on the back end or on the front 7 for the Chargers. I think that the Ravens get an edge because Calais Campbell is now gone. Have a couple more picks here. Broderick Jones, just a couple more things that the Jaguars need. Some offensive line help Trevor Lawrence. I think we do see a tight end go in the first round to the New York Giants. I think they could use a guy like Michael Myers, probably one of the better tight ends in this draft besides Dalton Kincaid. Another guy you see right down here because the Bengals lost a lot of guys in their offense. I think we do see another running back go, Bijan Robinson. The Cowboys just lost Ezekiel Elliott. I think Bijan Robinson's probably, I think we can all agree, the best running back in this class by a long shot. And a couple now here. We got Keely Ringo going to the Eagles. They keep getting better defensively. They lost Darius Slay, and they're going to have a couple more guys that are a little bit on the wrong side of 30 coming up. So, again, another young piece. And then for the Chiefs, again, they don't really need a whole lot. Get Darnell Wright as a very solid tackle. And overall, kind of a boring draft. I think that a lot of people may want to see some trades, honestly. But I think overall that, you could maybe see, I know you might talk about some trades, but I think that realistically, none of these teams, at least in that top 10, really feel the need to move up. I think that a lot of those teams kind of feel comfortable. The teams at least want a quarterback seem to be in a spot where they think they can still get their guy without moving up or giving up a hefty amount. Because we saw that the Panthers would give up a lot for that first overall pick. So I think it's got a kind of a quiet draft day in terms of trades.
Yeah, I could see there being, not too many trades. I still expect a few teams to maybe go at it and trade up at some point during the draft, whether that be a few first-round trades that might get in. But looking at your mock draft, I really like the picks at wide receiver for both the Patriots and Green Bay. And I find it really funny that you go Quentin Johnson to Green Bay, who Aaron Rodgers has been looking for a wide receiver for years now, and they might be shipping him off. We don't really know at the moment. If they ship him off, they're giving Jordan Love the wide receiver that Aaron Rodgers has been looking for quite some time. Some other things, at least we're looking at the Zay Flowers, just like, with the Patriots, just like Green Bay. They need that one other offensive weapon. I 100% agree with that, especially with the year Geno Smith just had for Seattle, which earned him that big contract. The Michael Mayer pick to the Giants is a little bit weird, saying they did get Darren Waller and they do have Daniel Bellinger, but, this is a league where you need to score points to win. So if you could help your offense, and saying that all the good wide receivers, or at least the first-round talent, is off the board, you help that offense. I could see the Giants maybe going defensively there, or cornerback or linebacker, areas where they're struggling a little bit. But, we talk about the quarterbacks. That's the big thing in this year's draft. I'm straight up going to come out here and say Anthony Richardson and Will Levis are not first-round picks. They're first-round picks this year because of what is needed for certain teams. But these are not guys that I see as plug-and-play guys right away. They're guys that need to develop. They're second-round, third-round picks possibly. But this year, because of the teams that need it, and you highlighted those early on, all those quarterbacks went in the top 10. You look at Levis, you look at Richardson. Those are guys that have shown their flashes. They've shown their potential, but they've never put it all together. So to me, I don't see them as first-round picks. But again, like I said, and I 100% agree where you have them going in terms of, top 10. I just think, they might get some general managers, some front office personnel fired, because there's other areas where I would go if I'm a quarterback-needing team. Before I'd go there, I'd look more like a Hendon Hooker in the second round or something like that. But, Alex, there was a lot of surprises in Josh's mock draft here. And, I'm going to pull an Adam Schefter, just like he's going to do on draft day, and I might ruin one of your picks because your first overall pick is another one of those surprises. Now let's flip on to your mock draft, starting with that first pick.
Well, Mr. Ciavolella, I don't like you disrespecting my first pick in Anthony Richardson. I know it comes as a surprise, and he is shooting up draft boards, but when you're looking at a prototypical quarterback, it is Anthony Richardson. 6'4", has good weight, and can really run. And this is a Carolina team that Anthony Richardson's pro comparison, Cam Newton. Where did Cam Newton play? Carolina. He has all the tools that you need in a quarterback, has the arm strength, has the great speed, and yes, his college tape isn't going to impress, but he played on a Florida team that was not good last year. His wide receivers did not help him out, and if put in the right system, you could really see Anthony Richardson thrive. And now here comes the chaos. Everyone's panicking on the board. The Texans go with C.J. Stroud, and yes, Bryce Young continues to fall, but we've seen the NFL move to more having those quarterbacks, taller quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud has that height. 6'3", put it all together on the tape at Ohio State, and he was really dominant. And then finally, the Indianapolis Colts get their guy. They jump up one spot to secure that they get their guy, because down the board, there's a lot of quarterback-needy teams, but the Colts get Bryce Young. He's that quarterback that dominated at Alabama. Couple of concerns on his height, but overall has done well at his pro day and at the NFL Combine. So the first three picks are all quarterbacks. 4 and 5, those basic picks, the top defenders, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, and then comes another trade. The Titans, sensing that they need a quarterback, move up 5 spots with the Detroit Lions. They trade up to pick 6 to get Will Levis. I know you talked about Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Not really jumping off the page, but Will Levis's arm talent, really, it's there. Super talented. And then that creates a quarterback controversy in Tennessee. Will Levis, Malik Willis. I think having both of those quarterbacks will benefit. And then if it's Levis who wins the job or Willis who wins the job, you can either flip one of the two or have them battle it out. Then you see the run-on defenders, Christian Gonzalez, first cornerback off the board, prototypical corner there. Tyree Wilson, Peter Skoronski, the Bears desperately need offensive line help. Eagles, Myles Murphy. Joey Porter Jr. to the Lions. A little bit of an interesting pick because we've talked about Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, but Joey Porter Jr. here at Penn State dominated, can play man, can play zone, can do whatever that Detroit Lions defense wants. And then here's my fun pick at 12. Jackson Smith-Njigba teaming up with his Ohio State quarterback in C.J. Stroud at the Combine. They talked about wanting to play together, and now they can do it in the NFL. Another tackle there to the Jets, Paris Johnson Jr. Then it's just more simple picks. The Patriots need a wide receiver. Jordan Addison dominated at Pitt and USC. Why not draft him? Michael Mayer, Josh had them taking a wide receiver. Now they get their tight end, and then you're seeing at pick 16, Broderick Jones. You need to protect whoever is going to be at quarterback for the Commanders, and it's just a safe pick. Now you're looking at the second half of the mock draft here. Devin Witherspoon finally goes to the Steelers. Yes, they miss out on Joey Porter Jr. It would be nice to keep him in state, but Witherspoon's a really good option. Now a couple of more defenders here. Brian Bazee, Brian Branch, Lucas Van Ness, all guys that are plug-and-play players. They have a lot of talent. And then pick 21, Bijan Robinson. It's an interesting pick. Yes, the Chargers do have Austin Eckler, but he is rumored to want out. I think that the Chargers grant their wish, and why not replace Austin Eckler with Bijan Robinson? We all know that he is the top running back in this draft. He comes in, he can easily dominate. Then the Ravens, they just signed Odell Beckham Jr., but why not add to that receiving core? Get another tall receiver there. Win Quentin Johnson, some more defenders there. Back-to-back corners, Cam Smith and Deonte Banks, two really solid guys that are end of the first round, early second round picks. Here's another interesting pick at 25 with the New York Giants. They signed a lot of wide receivers this offseason, but having another guy like Zay Flowers, very speedy, good hands. Dalton Kincaid, why not replace Dalton Schultz with another Dalton? Dalton Kincaid dominated at Utah. Keep the same name. He's going to have some success. And then keeping with the tight ends, Darnell Washington. This is a great pick there because the Bengals offense is full of cheat codes. Darnell Washington, 6'7", blazing speed. Imagine an offense of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Darnell Washington. It's borderline unstoppable. And then you see at the end of the draft, Nolan Smith, another freaky player. The Saints need help on the edge, pairing him up with Cam Jordan. Then the Eagles, once again, addressing their need at linebacker, Trenton Simpson. And once again, Josh, ending out the same way with Darnell Wright, just protecting Patrick Mahomes, getting him a lot more help on that offensive line.
I mean, you talked about protecting Patrick Mahomes. You talked about protecting Justin Fields for the Bears earlier in your mock draft. I really like those picks. I think the Nolan Smith pick to New Orleans is one that could really surprise a lot of people. I see Nolan Smith as one of the better defenders in the draft. I know a lot of people have him second half of that first round like you do here, but I could see him, playing to the level of one of those early round picks. And for the Saints, that's important based off their cap situation, which just hasn't been good. They have to find talent in this draft. They have to, use their resources, and those are the draft picks they have. So I like that Nolan Smith pick. I mean, I have to mention the Anthony Richardson pick. I can't go back and just not say anything about it. That, it is a crazy pick, but you said it perfectly. He's like Cam Newton. Cam Newton also had question marks coming out of college, coming out of Auburn. And I think, with that, he kind of fits the Carolina mold. Sure, there's a new regime in Carolina, but at the same time, he's kind of that quarterback that could really help Carolina get back to the Super Bowl and get back to competing because they haven't been the last couple of the years. Another one I really like in the NFC East, the Dalton Kincaid pick to Dallas. They need a new tight end to replace Dalton Schultz, and I think, you said it best. Dalton squared right here in replacing him, but I think all around, I really like it. Really solid draft, and you have a few more trades, which I think, no offense to you, Josh, might just be a little bit more realistic because the phone lines, they start to go crazy during the draft, and I think that's more likely. I think there's even a chance we see more than that, but I really like both of your mock drafts. There's some really good points in all of them, so that's going to do it for your mock draft. The days are numbered until 259 players hear their names called and get their NFL dreams underway. Will the first name be C.J. Stroud? Will it be Anthony Richardson? Or does Carolina go in a different direction? For Josh Bartosik and Alex Rocco, I'm Justin Ciavolella. Make sure to stay with Penn State Sports Night as the draft draws closer.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind the scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.